They didn't see you cry in the dark. They didn't hear the silence when no one clapped for your efforts. They didn't notice when you showed up with your heart stitched together by sheer will, pretending to be okay while everything inside was on fire. And that's okay. They weren't supposed to. Because some victories are born in shadows. You don't need to announce your journey. You don't need to scream your goals. Let the world sleep on you. Let them doubt you. Let them mock your dreams. Smile. Because the storm you are quietly building, it's going to shake the very ground they stand on. The truth is, we live in a world that worships noise. Everyone's posting, showing, bragging, flexing. But real power doesn't need a spotlight. A lion doesn't need to tell you it's a lion. It moves, and everything around it feels the shift. And so must you. Because this is not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about looking into the mirror and seeing someone who refused to fold, someone who kept walking when their legs shook, kept believing when doubt shouted louder than reason. You see, people will measure your worth by what they can see. But they'll never understand what it took in the unseen. The lonely nights, the sacrifices, the missed birthdays, the early mornings when your alarm was your only companion. They won't see it, and they don't have to, because your success will speak loud enough when the time comes, and it will roar. But to get there, it starts with mindset. Most people don't lose because they lack talent. They lose because they surrender to a thought that whispered, "You're not enough." Your mind is the battlefield, the origin of every triumph and tragedy. You win there, and the rest of the world follows. So guard it. Feed it truth, not fear. Feed it vision, not doubt. Because the most dangerous thing is not a person without resources, it's a person who has been told they can't and refuses to believe it. Belief is not just a feeling, it's a weapon. And when you hold it with both hands, when you wield it like your life depends on it, you become unstoppable. But belief without clarity is a blade with no direction. You must be clear, crystal clear. What are you building? What's the mountain you're climbing? What does the summit look like in your mind? Because if you can't see it, you'll never hold it. If your dreams are vague, your actions will be scattered. And so you must define it. Every detail, every feeling, what it smells like to walk into your dream life, what it sounds like when the applause finally reaches your ears, what it feels like when your bank account matches the effort you've poured out for years. Close your eyes and see it. Every day, without fail. Because clarity births direction, and direction births purpose. Purpose, that's the fire they can't put out. Purpose is what wakes you up at 5 a.m. when motivation sleeps in. Purpose is what keeps you humble when success starts knocking. It's not about chasing money, not about chasing followers. It's about becoming who you were meant to be and honoring that with everything you've got. Because you can fake a smile, you can fake talent, but you can't fake purpose. And when your purpose burns bright enough, you'll stop chasing attention and start chasing impact. But purpose alone is not enough. You need discipline, that quiet, unglamorous, unsexy discipline. The kind that doesn't post on Instagram, the kind that chooses progress over pleasure, the kind that makes you skip parties to work on your craft, the kind that builds empires while everyone else is sleeping. Discipline is doing it, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. Because every rep you put in when no one's around, that's the rep that separates you. That's the rep that builds the story they'll talk about later. Not the one you post, the one you earn. So you grind. You bleed in silence, you sacrifice without announcement, and then one day, the world looks up and says, "Where did this come from?" And you'll just smile, because you'll know where it came from. It came from those nights you didn't quit, from the mornings you didn't press snooze, from the pain you didn't post about, and the resilience you didn't hashtag. Action, consistent, brutal, honest action, not once, not when you feel like it. Every single day. The problem is not the dream, it's the inconsistency. Too many people wait for motivation to strike like lightning. But legends. Legends build their thunder, strike by strike, effort by effort. They don't wait for the mood. They create the momentum. Because success is not a moment. It's a process, a grind, a journey. And if you're not obsessed with the process, you'll never deserve the result. But in the middle of all that action, don't forget gratitude, because you'll get lost if you're not grounded. Gratitude isn't weakness, it's strength in its purest form. It reminds you that no matter how far you've come, you didn't do it alone. That every breath, every opportunity, every obstacle that didn't break you was a blessing in disguise. And when you work with gratitude, you attract more to be grateful for. Not because of magic, but because your eyes open wider. You see the doors others miss. You seize the moments others overlook. And when those doors slam in your face, and as they will, that's when you call on adaptability. Because life won't care about your plan. It will test it, bend it, break it, and ask, now what? And your answer? You move, you pivot, you find a way. Because success doesn't go to the smartest or strongest. It goes to the one who adapts, who evolves, who refuses to stay down. And when life pushes you down to your knees, that's when you meet resilience. Not the kind people applaud, but the kind that happens in quiet rooms with red eyes and clenched fists, when everything in you screams to give up. But something deeper whispers, not yet. You see, resilience isn't about bouncing back. It's about rising different, stronger, wiser, sharper. It's forged in the fire of rejection, in the echo of failure, in the silence after everyone else has stopped believing in you. Most will fold when things get hard, because pain exposes truth. It reveals who's just interested and who's committed. So when the storm comes, don't curse it. Welcome it. Because the storm doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to shape you, to strip away the noise, the excuses, the comfort, and leave behind the real you. And while the world waits for conditions to be perfect, you rise in the imperfect. You learn from every scar, from every setback, from every time you hit the floor and realized the ground is not the end, it's the beginning of your push back up. That's where the winners are made, not in the spotlight, in the shadows, in the repetition, in the refusal to surrender. But resilience alone is not enough. You must become a student of the game, because success without growth is temporary, and ignorance, no matter how loud, will always be exposed by time. So you study. You study yourself, your patterns, your weaknesses. You study the greats. You find mentors in books, in silence, in failure. You realize that learning isn't something you graduate from, it's something you live in. And every day you don't learn. You don't just stay the same. You fall behind because the world is moving fast, and those who stand still are already forgotten. But those who stay hungry, who remain teachable, who ask better questions, they evolve into something dangerous, something rare, something unshakable. And as you grow, something changes in your energy. You don't need to shout. You don't need to prove. You become the quiet force in the room that people feel before they see. You become the calm in chaos, the clarity in confusion. People start to notice, but they don't know what changed. They just feel it. It's because while they were talking, you were doing. While they were posting, you were building. While they were chasing likes, you were chasing legacy. And legacy doesn't need a filter. But here's the truth that no one tells you. It will be lonely. The higher you climb, the thinner the air, and the fewer the people who can breathe at that level. You will outgrow places, outgrow conversations, outgrow people, and it will hurt. Because letting go of the familiar always does. But growth demands separation. Elevation demands isolation. Because you can't fly if you keep dragging anchors. So you love them, but you leave. Not with arrogance, with purpose. Because you've got work to do. You've got a mission to fulfill. A promise to yourself you refuse to break. And that promise is this: you will not leave this life wondering what you could have been. You will not bury your potential beneath excuses and distractions. You will not settle. You will shock them, not with your words, but with the empire you built in silence, the peace you found in discipline, the wealth you created through obsession, the greatness you sculpted one painful, invisible day at a time. They'll say, "Where did this come from?" And you'll know the answer. It came from the silence, from the sweat no one saw, from the tears you swallowed, from the dreams you protected like a sacred fire. And in that moment, when the world finally sees what you always saw, you won't need validation, because you became the person you were chasing. And that is the real shock. Not the car, not the house, not the applause. It's the transformation, the metamorphosis of a soul that refused to die quietly, of a spirit that whispered, "I will rise, I will evolve, I will conquer." So let them doubt you, let them sleep on you, let them laugh. But you get up, you show up, you do the work, in silence, in darkness, with fire in your chest and purpose in your steps. Because one day, the world will have no choice but to stop and stare in awe at the one they never saw coming, you.